Hi, Internet.
Hello, Internet.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adventurers Wanted Undergods. I am Chloe, your Dungeon Master for the evening. How familiar are people with D&D? Most people, yeah, kind of. A few waves of the hands, yeah. Just to recap for anyone who isn't sure, and for anyone who's watching online in our stream, which is our future, but you're now. D&D, basically, I am the Dungeon Master. The people to my left and right are our wonderful players. They each have a specific, unique character, and they control that person, describe what they want to do, roleplay them, make their decisions and such like. And I play the rest of the world that they find themselves in, the people that they meet, and the things that try to kill them, and the things that maybe are nice, but then they just get killed anyway, all that kind of stuff. And when we need to make decisions, or sometimes when there is something that's not necessarily straightforward or easy to do, we use 12-sided dice, and we roll them. 20-sided dice. Chris passed the first test. 20-sided dice, and we roll them. If something lands on a 1, that's a natural 1, and it's typically very bad. And if it's a natural 20, then it's super, super good. And then there's all the numbers in between. So, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the description of where we're at, because we're now this is the third installment of Undergods. The show will run until about 10:45-ish. We will have an interval halfway through for about 15 minutes, but we like to keep things quite relaxed and nice here, so if at any point you do need to pop out for the bathroom or to grab a new drink or anything like that, feel free to. That's absolutely fine. We also have a relaxed attitude to sound and movement from the audience for the benefit of people who would have difficulty being still and silent for the entire time. And if at any point you're kind of going, wait, why are people doing that? Or how does this thing work? I'm confused. We're also fine with you just kind of having a little ask of how things work, because we want to make sure that people at any level of experience with D&D can enjoy what we do. Additionally, it's very hard to place something like a trigger warning on what we do because of the nature of this. Obviously, we don't know exactly the story that's going to get told over the course of the evening, but there are likely some kind of slightly more emotional, dark subjects coming up in the session tonight. And equally, if you want to go outside, take a breather, that is absolutely fine. Do not worry about that. Additionally, we are an LGBTQIA+ positive company, and we welcome trans players and trans characters representation at our tables and in our games. We want to celebrate such people and such players and create a positive space for audiences, players, DMs, and everyone basically. We are aware that obviously with games like D&D, the people at the table, especially including myself, because I will be playing many different characters, but other people may be playing people whose pronouns don't align with their personal pronouns, playing people of different genders and identities. We're aware that misgendering does happen, and we have a policy in place to correct misgendering. However, if you think we've missed an instance, we're fine. Just call out if you think we've not spotted one. And additionally, a quick thank you goes to our two sponsors, D&D Beyond and Ultra Pro, who now sponsor every single thing that we do, which is really awesome of them. Ultra Pro do things like making super cool dice, like these heavy metal, genuinely actually metal, lovely dice.
Oh, we didn't bring a dice bag.
I know we forgot to bring a dice bag.
Oh, they do these really cool beholden dice bags that are really, really cute. They're on the internet. There'll be links on our Twitter.
And D&D Beyond obviously provides amazing online tools for playing D&D, and if you're watching on the stream, they are providing the beautiful overlay that I think is somewhere over there, where you can click and see everyone's character sheets.
I think you're looking up my,
And additionally, Undergods specifically is also supported by Thornless Rose. Hopefully you were all given raffle tickets when you came in. If not, we'll make sure you've got one, because later on we will be doing a little draw for some beautiful dice from Thornless Rose. Anyway, let's get on to the actual story in this particular game. Chaz, if I could have some kind of cool background music. This is also Chaz back here, who's going to be doing all the sound. So, far, all of you have investigated the seeming theft of a variety of magical items. You were gathered by an organisation called The Tree and were sent off to a location, the Lorinare House, where various incredibly valuable items were once stored. However, when you got there, you found only some very hostile figures who you soon dispatched with, and a strange monument, a kind of circular monument made of wooden strutted archways, bound to which was an item called the Sword of Ghosts, one of the particular missing items. David's character having been dragged within that monument by a Hound Horror, aged 6 years in 6 seconds, attesting to its power. However, due to Phoebe's ability and predilection for starting fires, burns down the monument, and you retrieve the sword, which is currently within a bag of holding inside a broomhead of a wares. And through the information that you found upon the bodies of the people you fought there, you decided to head south to the Barrenlands, where it seems that one of the other objects had been taken. Travelling there, you went through the port of Cosman, meeting a few different people, and eventually deciding to pay for the services of a local mage to conjure a rhino and a sled, which you then used to travel through the Barrenlands to this camp. Ships and bottles. Ships and bottles. Is the rhino's name. Arriving at the camp, you split into 2 groups, attempting one deception where you pretended as a changeling to be one of the individuals you'd killed at the Lorinare house, and pretended that you had captured Tender, David's character. However, at the point where Polaris, John's character, and Phoebe Hammond's character intervened, shall we say, having been told to be incredibly quiet, or being aware that everyone in the camp had been told to be incredibly quiet, you cast Stun Away.
Having been instructed to cause a distraction.
Yes. Awaking a Bahia, a huge monstrous creature that, imagine a kind of elongated dragon with no wings but more legs.
Sounds like a really good distraction. Oh, yeah.
That burst into chaos all over, during which a small dog snarled away what seems to be spell components of some sort, thus interrupting a ritual where now most of you are currently on a small outcrop of rock where the sunken crown, a magical item that grants the wearer immortality, has been fused into a stone archway, much like the ones that you saw at the Lorinare house. However, separate from all this is Chris's character, who is currently dealing with the partner persona that they put on, and has just, well, we'll get to what you've just decided to do. If you could all describe your characters, if you could give your name, your pronouns, your character's name, your character's pronouns, a little bit of colour about who your character is, and maybe just where their head's at right now.
That's not me.
We'll see, Chris. We'll start with you.
Alright, my name is David Alwyn, I use he, him pronouns, and I play Tender Levenkir, who is dad. And not a very good one, by all intents and purposes. Left his daughter splendid with a basic stranger in a pub, and then failed to call them on multiple occasions because of the whole aging thing. It's bad news for Tender at the moment. It's not going very well. He's tiefling, sort of greyish in colour, obsidian horns, kind of going back. Now a slightly more greying beard now than it was before, thanks to those 9 years. And they're having a bad day for the whole of their life. Cool.
Hello, my name is Tom. I use he, him pronouns, so does my character Polaris. Polaris is a sort of early 30-something water genasi. To you and I, that's probably a genie or something. If you kind of fuse it with kind of an elemental style, that's sort of how I'm flavouring it. His body, it looks like it's made entirely of seawater. We actually established he doesn't have bones, which came up once. Yeah, it's kind of like rippling, translucent seawater all the time, but he doesn't wear clothes and stuff, because he is the most successful privateer in all of Nicara, the island that we are currently working in the service of. Yeah, I got that?
You're working in the service of the tree.
The tree's on Nicara.
Nicara is the world that you're in.
That's right. So that. And Polaris is a privateer. He's definitely not a pirate because he takes money from the legitimate authorities and does all of his actions on his ship entirely legitimately. He considers this mission to be not unlike any of his normal ones. He's here because he is under contract, he's on a retainer with the tree, and he's getting increasingly frustrated with what he perceives as the lack of professionalism from his colleagues as he sees them. He's also, I mean, as the name of the campaign suggests, he is also an undergod, and a few times now he has seemed to give off some level of lightning energy, which seems to coalesce inside him sometimes when he's struck with sufficient force. Maybe more on that later. It's not scripted. There might be no payoff for that this week.
Hi, I'm Hannah, she, her, playing Phoebe, also she, her, and Phoebe is one of those incompetents that Polaris is getting increasingly annoyed about. Phoebe is a descendant of a god called Scala, who hasn't really answered her much. You know how a parent is supposed to check in now and then, but that just hasn't really been happening for her. She is pretty sheltered, and this is her first sort of big adventure out and about from the place where she was raised, which was a temple of Scala's. She is really good friends with Tender's kid, and Phoebe has been taught that fire good, and is increasingly relying on that as she has no idea what else to do, and it's working so far. And her Undergods power seems to manifest in visions that are relatively difficult to interpret. She's only really had the chance to confide in a couple people on the adventure so far about how awkward she finds her lack of interpretive skills. But they're worrying. They're really worrying.
Yeah. Hello, Griff, they, them, playing an entity currently being known as Aware, who is a changeling, whose personal pronouns are they, them, but who put on the persona of any number of different genders and identities. They are the descendants of Razun, who is a chaos god, and as such not a super involved parent. And they are currently showing their dedication to such a parent by being a dog. Doesn't actually have a name as yet. Thanks. Good boy.
We've been a little tied up.
In terms of their emotional state, to be honest, they feel quite a bit like Polaris at the moment. They really would just like to get the contract done with, and are finding it very, very difficult to navigate how we do that as a group. Seeing as they can be anybody, they tend to work as a free agent, and they are kind of not really okay with what's been playing out with their other changeling buddy. Segue.
Hi, I'm Chris. I use he and they pronouns, and Ratha, my character, uses they and them pronouns. Ratha is also a changeling, but unlike Aware, is not able to turn into animals or anything like that, just humanoids, and they have made something of a career out of being able to swap very quickly from person to person and have somewhat segregated their different works really, really well when you adopt the persona of an enemy you just defeated and have to confront their partner, as I mentioned. So, Rathar's got a bit of crisis on their hands.
Speaking of which,
Hey.
we're in the Barrenlands. Think ashfields, think dormant volcanoes and such like. And separate from the main fight, where currently people are being engulfed in flame and fireballs, rope bridges are burning to a crisp and then splitting over chasms.
Basically.
Wrath is currently in persona as Amara,
Yep.
in a small hut with Halstis, who was Amara's partner, Amara being someone who was killed in the first episode by this group. And you have just used the spell scroll of Dominate Monster and have given the instructions to Bahir, and we're starting with Bahir's turning combat, to crash into this hut and consume Halstis.
Yep.
So,
Okay. Oh.
the Bahir does come absolutely crashing through as everything around you splinters. You yourself, being in the area, take only 6 points of damage from splinters, shards, from legs clipping you and stuff, as the Bahir just pushes through. And Imera just got free? Sorry, Halstis, you're Imera.
Not really, but yeah.
You had trapped Halstis in a web,
Yes.
and they were just getting free because they were attacked by Aware. However, I mean, I'll make the attack roll for the Bahir against Imera. Yes, Halstis, thank you very much, Chris. Yeah. It's a 15 on the dice, so house this is there, and then the head of this monster just closes around her.
The Amera persona is upset, but Wrath is not. So there's a very strange sort of shift between Imera crying, falling to her knees, and a sort of impassive, grey-skinned, white-haired changeling face switching back and forth. Yeah, that's I think responsible.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we now come back to the top of the round, as it were, and on an outcrop of rock, you can see people in fireballs. The four of you are standing with Krisha, a dragonborn messenger, Mantra, a tiefling who seems to be part of this organization, another person whose name you're yet to discover, but a masculine human who was underneath a magical hut that is now exposed, and a hooded and masked figure. It is your go first, Aware. What are those people in the process of doing? Burning. A fireball was cast by Phoebe that currently engulfs all of them, though it looks like they're not about to give up. They just finished casting Stone Shape, which has wrapped the sunken crown and forged this archway around it. It is now just baked in to this stone. There's a small amount of panic because obviously they weren't able to find the other spell components that they still needed to somehow finish some element of this ritual that you as a dog snuffled away and hid in a bag of beans. Yeah. Is Phoebe standing with us?
I'm floating, I think.
You're floating. Yes, using your creature blank. But you've taken 2 arrows to the gut at this point?
I'm not feeling great, but I'm at half
say, Phoebe's hurt. Raph's back there doing, I don't know what. What's the plan?
This is a dog pointing.
You can't point, it's not like...
So do that in my direction just so I can get a full... Great. Why, in all the gods' names, are you asking me what the plan is? I can get Phoebe down here and I can maybe heal if she comes down, but
6 seconds.
I'm on fire!
You can take a bonus action because you cast a message. You can use your movement.
I have no idea where I would go. I wanted to be with these people. Phoebe's floating. I'm not dealing with that.
You can, if you want to, because you're a rogue, you could take your bonus action to hide for the benefit of your next round.
I will hide behind bars.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that without like rolling for it because you are a little dog. Medium dog. Ratha, it is now your turn.
The shifting back and forth is slowing down, and it's just Raph upset now. I presume the Behir is still munching on this person.
The hit kind of barreled through,
Okay.
and so it's still in front of you, and it is still consuming Halstis. However, that's probably ringing through Raph's head. However, the hut that you're in, it has pretty much smashed it to pieces. So you're now a bit more exposed to the elements, and you can see smoke rising from the remains of...
Yeah, Raph is not quite sure how to compartmentalize this and can't. So it's just still slumped on the ground as if, howling in pain and anguish at the loss of your partner, but also not because, well, they haven't. And it's just sort of frozen in place, definitely tears streaming down their face, but they don't really know where the tears have come from or why they're sad.
Lars.
I point at the stone that has now been shaped into the crown, the sunken crown,
Yeah, sunken crown.
the shape of the sunken crown, and shout, "We came to get that! Right?
Right.
It's in stone now. I left my pickaxe at home. What do you want?
I don't have anything that can break stone. I think.
I think we're past that.
Oh.
You're right. We take the stone home with us.
I'm going to be really hard on 6 seconds.
Where's Raha?
You will have seen it because it's impossible to miss that the Behir just through this hut. You don't necessarily know that's where Ratha was.
Yeah, I don't think Polaris knew
Yeah.
that's where Raha was.
Do you want to take any action?
One of these two people here must know something on how to do it. Grab him.
You've got
Kill him.
2 warriors, a messenger, and a masked figure. Fire, don't grab them.
Yeah.
One of them also, the masked figure did not seem to scream or react to being set on fire.
So
Okay.
annoying.
Oh.
I'm just saying, just so you're aware.
Right, okay. It's kind of like for a second my right arm disappears as I thrust it forward because I'm water gymnastic style, creating or destroying water and just using Call to the Wave race ability to make a load of water and dump it on their heads. And then turn to like a matrix and say, answers, get answers, and then head towards the Behir.
So Fireball is magical fire.
Yeah.
Phoebe,
Yeah.
seeing that, it's not quite yet your turn, but just to make this match up, would you drop that?
Yeah, I think I would. At this point, it's not doing what she wants it to do, which is
No, I'm going to head as best I can towards the beer because it looks like that's where that is.
So you'll have to run back along this outcropping. It's almost like a V shape because there would have been a rope bridge directly to that spot, but someone burnt it. But you can run.
Yeah. That's around the other options.
Tender.
I am going to the one in the mask
Yes.
within distance of me. Like, can I get to them?
Oh, easily, yes.
Great.
You're all on this little outcrop, and this kind of area is maybe 30 feet across. So you're all quite close.
Perfect. I am going to cast Hold Person.
Oh, what do I need? What do I need to roll?
I don't know. I've never done this before. It is.
It's never held a person before.
I've never held a person. From a distance.
I'm assuming this is what, charisma save? Or wisdom save?
It is a wisdom saving throw.
That's a non-natural 20.
Doesn't work.
What does it look like, though, when you're still trying to...
Tender will, because I think canonically doesn't quite have his instrument on him right now, or just hasn't used it. But I'm not going to use the instrument this one. It's just that he's going to just hum, just a little to himself, like a weird resonant note, and try and hold him.
And you think... Can you roll me performance?
David, you still haven't held anyone.
That's a 3.
Anyone around knows that you tried to do something and it didn't work. And indeed, there's just a shift. This mask only has a couple of eyes cut in it. It doesn't even have a mouth cut into it or a nose. It's incredibly flat and smooth. It looks like it's made of bronze or similar. And it just starts to make eye contact with you.
Baby, get it!
Do you want to use a bonus or any of your movements?
I will use a bonus action to give that's my inspiration to Phoebe. Phoebe, you got it!
I would like to cast Command. Third level. And I speak a one-word command to the creatures within range. I can do at third level. I can do a couple of people. For additional creature for each slot level above first. So I'd like to command 3 of them. And I am going to try Grovel again.
Grovel, and which 3?
So I would like to hit the miscellaneous masculine human.
Yep.
Yep. Mantra, the one who's not the messenger. Yep, the other one. And I'm going to try on the hooded figure because fire hasn't worked. Maybe this will. I don't know.
Oh, 2 of this and that's 20.
That's what year it is.
What's your DC?
We're 16, so.
Oh, the other one is a 15 on the dice, but I'm going to check for, this is for mantra.
Don't I have inspiration?
Great, that's not a 24 hit, that's a 19.
Oh.
It is not anyone's save.
Right.
So it's back round to the individuals who are there with you. The masked figure, who is looking at you right now. Right. Oh, but I thought this could be more fun, but you're not. I really didn't want to have to do this, but
That seems like a fair reaction to us.
you're so inconvenient. The hand and just says, "Don't worry, the dawn will come," and cast disintegrate on themselves. And just rippling out from their chest, almost like ash burning into them. Dramatic. Suddenly you can see through their chest, and then it just ripples out and starts to crumble away at all of them, and the wind carries them away.
The big mood.
Let that be a lesson to the rest of you. It's fine. I need new dice.
Amazing. The others, in the other.
It's 10 with my modifier.
Okay, it's a 10. I think you think you've done a good job. The others who are left there, with the ash of presumably a leader just kind of catching on their faces on the wind, look at the remainder of you, look at the archway, and start to run. So they're going to be kind of running just behind Polaris. However, you will all get attacks of opportunity if you'd like. You can only take one, so you can only target one of them unless you've got.
You could use them to grab them so they can't run.
Yeah, this is the plan. Can I just do a grab? I don't want to use. Yeah, grapple. Can I just jump on one and get them to the ground?
Sure. Grapple is contested strength.
Athletics feat for those attempting to grapple, athletics or acrobatics for those trying to escape grapple.
Okay. Let's say this is against Krisha. This is against Krisha, the messenger. So make me a athletics roll.
I used a different dice, and I got a 4 on the dice. But that is with athletics as well. That's a 4.
26.
Face plant. A mouthful of gravel to tender.
Yeah. So you can go for either mantra or leap if you'd like.
I think I'll try for leap.
Yep.
And I'll try just grabbing them by the calf.
Yeah.
Doggy grapple.
Yeah. It'll still be athletics just for grappling.
18.
Oh, 2. So you do.
Go on, bad boy.
Let's say also like 1 point of damage because you're doing it with your teeth onto these incredibly you can't. Thing is, because grappling normally you would reduce that person's speed to 0, but right now you're just a dog who's bit on someone's leg. Yeah, but it's like
A mastiff takes hold of you. Like, it's actually a mastiff.
It's not like Leaf is kind of like totally pinned down, but you have stopped Leaf from moving any further.
If he wants to move, he's dragging the dog by the jaws.
Yeah. Phoebe,
Okay, I'll give it a
as
go.
Mantra is running away.
Yeah. Can I fly down in front of her? Is that viable? And then,
I'll allow, because you didn't use your movement in your action,
Yeah.
I'll allow that you can use it here.
cool. I guess, and then I guess I do a shove because I could.
If they were trying to do grapple and shove.
Well, I'm just trying to stop moving, push back towards the rest of the party, I think, because we're trying to keep them contained.
Make it grapple, we'll see if you grapple, and then we'll see if you can shove.
Oh nope.
Come on. How badly? Because I didn't roll great either. 6. 6. 6.
Status doesn't change, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mantra's still running away. Meanwhile, there are also still some zombies. were flattened by a thunder wave.
I've not given the Behir any orders. Maybe it's hungry.
We'll see. They are currently moving just towards the living individuals that they know, but very slowly because they're quite damaged. It is the Behir's turn, and
I have not commanded it to do anything.
yeah, so it will continue doing what it's doing. And we're back to aware.
So I've got a mouthful of
Yes.
I think I'm going to use my action to try to like wrestle him down. So like if I've got him by the calf, just kind of wrenches me out from under so that he has to fall over.
Sure.
Technically, a second grapple. Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense that it's another kind of strength athletics I'm happy with. And he will try and resist. 17. 19 on the dice. So you try to, but Leaf is actually able to stay standing. Is there anything additionally you want to try and do?
Would you let me dash without losing hold of him?
I would let you dash, but you would just do that to go your normal movement, because you're carrying so much extra weight as the dog. But I will allow that, because however, you've just lost this grapple.
Yeah. So it would be kind of like
Okay, I'll allow it because I think it's funny. But you're able to move 30 feet. You're essentially using your dash to make sure that you can actually...
yeah, basically I'm just following Polaris. As Polaris has started running off, I'm going to drag this guy with us.
Cool.
So this poor individual who's trying to look as in control as possible, but has already been burnt and then doused and then dragged by a dog. Back to Raph.
Right. I am now shifting appearance between Wrath and Wrath's bard persona, Gwendolyn. And Gwendolyn is basically hugging herself as much as she can, so that when Wrath is back in their own form, they're being hugged by Gwendolyn effectively.
Yeah.
And they are managing to slowly calm themselves down instead of constantly shifting back and forth.
I'm guessing that you're not giving any orders.
No.
Yeah. Polaris. You've got quite a high... Oh, no, your passive's probably high enough to be aware that people are following you, that others are coming in the direction you're coming in.
Fine. How far am I from the Behir?
From the Behir, if you dashed, you'd be able to get up to the rear of it.
And the Behir has destroyed this hut, so like...
Yes, it's just sacks of produce, furs that people were wearing, locked boxes, that kind of thing, and in the middle of it all, Wrath just on the floor.
Okay. Yeah, I do dash towards the foundations of the hut, I suppose.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are people following me.
There are definitely some people following you,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I dash for the foundations and call out, Rat! Rat! I can see them.
Yes.
Okay. I've used all my movement and won't use a bonus action, but I'm now
Yeah.
kind of in amongst it. I guess I turn around to see what's been following following me. That's often saved my life. So I will do that.
Sure. If you turn around at that point, Krishna and Mashiter, who I believe is the only ones who actually managed to start running away, they're going towards, they're not following you, they're kind of curving around and going towards some of the steeds that were tied up in the camp. They're evidently taking it in that direction.
Okay.
However, there is a rather wiry-looking, blonde, masked individual currently being awkwardly dragged by a mastiff.
Right.
Tender.
Gonna get up.
Yep.
Dust myself off. Start all over again. I'm going to run toward Leaf and the dog and try and just go, right, lost cause. Done with that. At least I can go on let's tag team this guy. So I'm just gonna run after the dog and Leaf.
Sure, you can, if you were to use dash, you can catch up to them.
Yeah.
Any bonuses?
I guess I'm going to stop burning these inspirations. I'm going to good bad dog. Very good bad dog. Neutral dog. You're a neutral dog. And give an inspiration to a wet.
Phoebe.
I see them running for the horses.
Yes, it's pretty obvious that they're.
Go with your instincts.
I mean, okay. Sorry.
You burn the fleet in port and cannot face you at sea.
Polaris knows that you live.
There's 5 steeds.
That's okay. Are they within 5 feet of each other?
They're definitely not all within 5 feet of each other. They're kind of in a say, 5-foot radius. So
Cool. Yeah. I would like to cast Flaming Spear, please.
Is there anything that the steeds can do to resist this, given that they are tied up because they are horses?
No. They could try a dexterity roll.
The end of Equus, Jesus.
Oh man, I was in that show.
I didn't personally make a sound effect for burning horses.
I would like to formally request there not be a sound effect.
I'm really sorry.
I'm happy with this.
Gameplay-wise.
Your flaming spear, does it look or feel any different to your fireball?
Yeah, I think so. Fireball's kind of hurled. For me, a Flaming Spear is sort of a drama game. Like, I pass that ball of energy instead. It's almost as if where there is the space between the horses, there's a very, very small ball of fire. And then it grows, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows until it reaches its 5-foot diameter.
So it's a slow death, you're saying.
I'm saying that it's still fire, right? On contact with oxygen. It's already a microwave.
So, they would normally make a dex save, yes? Yeah. I'm just going to run through the disadvantage because they're tied up, because they're horses. Disadvantage, 5 on the dice.
No.
Could you roll damage, please?
I could.
Do I have to? I'm really hoping it's high enough so this is going on.
Give me a d6 there.
Oh man. I got plenty of D6.
I just need.
Use all of those.
Use them all. Just do it, baby. You monster.
10, please.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
There is this growing, swirling point of flame that starts in the middle of where these seeds are tied up, and they fall.
I'm getting disapproving headshakes from the audience. Yes.
What did you expect?
I was told not to let them get away.
That's fair. Everyone is told to do it.
We're very good at that.
Mantra and Krisha are able to see this happen. No, there's nowhere that they can actually, because they can't go into the Barrenlands. It would be madness for two people on foot to go out into that essentially bleak wasteland. Look around and resolve, okay? Get their weapons and they stand ready to fight. You were at distance with casting that, weren't you?
Yeah.
Tender, where did you run to?
I'd run
You just
towards
caught up with.
Dog and Leaf.
Okay, so they are just going to have some attacks ready if anyone comes near them. Leaf is going to try and get rid of this dog. And it's evidently starting to become quite. It's a distress that comes from confusion. If this was me fighting someone, then I know what to do when I'm fighting someone. But there's just this look of panic on his face because no one told him that this was going to be something that could happen in this situation, and he's finding it hard to even process. You probably obviously have the best view of that. The Bahir is going to do nothing because it's not been instructed to do anything. It is still just stuck.
I have a thought on this. Because I am making an effort to calm myself down, and the hair is very big and long, could it be like sort of curling around like it's trying to hug as well?
If there's any part of your brain
Definitely, yeah.
communicating that to the Bahir,
Probably, yeah.
okay, it is not constricting, but it is kind of wrapping itself around you and the area. Could you roll insight for me?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I figured I'd have to do that. Let's just get the plus first, so there's more suspense. That is 12.
Okay, with a 12, you're on the fence. It's moving slower than it did before, but it doesn't look good. Aware, you have a very panicked, scared person.
I will again try to do the grapple shot and bring it to the ground.
Okay. Three. No. It's just an awkward dance. I think at this point, Leaf is starting to get at least used to the reality of what's happening and is actually putting his hands on you to try and resist more effectively. But is just awkwardly scrapping with you now. Are there any bonuses? They're going to be hard to necessarily, I mean, if you want to keep hold of Leaf.
I do want to keep hold of him, but I'd like to continue moving in the direction of Wrath and Polaris as I have done.
Sure. You go another 30 feet. I think you're now about 30 feet away. Yes, because far south.
Correct.
Wrath. The Bahir is slowly enveloping you.
Right. Can you see?
I'm aware of where you are. There's now a Bahir. I mean, I'm seeing a Bahir wrap itself around you, so like you may well not be obscured. But
You saw Wrath, but then
yeah.
Wrath was cut off sight by the Bahir wrapping around.
Okay. Then for you, but no one sees. When Wrath switch back and forth gains a third persona, that's of a half-orc, where Gwen is trying to calm and Wrath is upset. The half-orc is almost entirely impassive, but with a rather mournful, sorrowful expression. And Wrath stands up. Well, that is, stands up. And Wrath has now calmed themselves down, and that is the half is probably just about visible. And Thaddeus is more level-headed. Thaddeus stands, and if I look around, what do I see? I see two people readying weapons.
Two people readying weapons near something, some bodies, some figures that are on fire on the ground.
Okay.
You see Polaris.
Yep.
You see a little way behind him the small dog that you know is aware, entangled with another one of these cult members or some such.
Yeah.
You can see Phoebe still flying around.
Yeah.
You can see additionally Tender catching up.
How many more rounds does the hit dominate for?
I think Dominate Monster actually lasted quite a significant amount of time. Yes, we're talking not rounds. I don't think we're even talking minutes. I think we're talking hours. But I will double check.
But it is still a threat if it's not dominated. And if people
It's a hell of a threat if it's not
and
dominated.
if people do damage to it, it might put a snap out of it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It will last for an hour.
Yeah.
So you've still got plenty of time.
Okay.
Each time it takes damage,
Yeah.
it will make a new wisdom saving throw against the spell.
I thought so. Okay. I would like to command the here to not so much attack as collect, because it can grab and straight can't it?
Yes.
The two people with ready attacks and jump off of them.
Okay.
We're good guys.
We will get to that on his turn. Laris,
Under God, not under good.
you can see the persona just at the top of their head.
He hasn't done that because not within his turn.
No.
But I still half orc, nice and tall. Yeah, right. Let's say I did turn around to look at all this stuff, and I turned back around. Like, rah.
Fine, help the others.
How far off are the two with the ready?
From you, about 30 feet.
I'd like to throw my trusty trident at the nearest one.
Okay. That'll be Mantra.
That is a 19.
Yeah, that hits.
Cool. That is 9 magical piercing.
Okay. Is it just embedded in Mantra?
It is. It kind of like it really does a blow, and then I like start jogging and then running, and then because 30 feet of movement, I catch up with a friend over here with the dangly dogger,
Yeah.
and then just reach out, bonus action to return it to my hand, and just skewer it down onto our friend who's grappling with our dog pal.
Can you make that bonus attack?
I've got to attack around because level 5 attack.
It wrenches. I'm guessing it has like slightly pointed tips so that
Yes. Well, this is the trees one, so you
Yeah.
have free reign on what it looks like.
it's unpleasant. Like it wrenches out of Mantra's chest slightly, and there's a caving in there. And when you have it back, make an attack roll. Not prone. However, I'm going to say that this is at advantage.
I'm right next to
because
them.
Yeah.
he can't freely move that easily because you haven't been able to actually grapple.
Well, I said, let's see if I crit, and then I crit. Yeah. Let's do, and that would have been two-handed because I did that.
Yeah.
Great, you're here. Now we can get some answer. Oh, God! 14 magical piercing.
And that's with all your doubles, yeah.
That's, yes, just I rolled twice.
I think the reason that it crits is because Leaf was already bent over partially to deal with the dog, so it's not like you're kind of just coming down there, you're coming down here. Like right where the neck meets the shoulder.
like I got this one. Like, I said we're going to get answers. It's like this person won't be going anywhere.
Tender.
He's the knight.
I'm teeing up your Batman spin-off.
Yeah, I'd love to see this guy's Batman. We all went off rooftops left, right, and center. Where is she? I honestly have no idea where she is. Tender is, Tender, I think, is going to stay here. Talk to Leaf and just go, listen, I'll call them off, I can heal you. You got to work with us here, otherwise I do not know what they're going to do. I do. I want to help you.
Leaf looks like he's too scared to talk. He's got a trident embedded in almost his neck, and he's got someone else who is clamped onto his leg, and he was just on fire only about 15 seconds ago. He looks like he can barely process things with what he is currently being put through.
It's written in 2020.
So yeah, I guess my action there was trying to sway, but no.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's fine. I will not use a bonus action. I will stay and just be like trying to calm them down.
You know, make a persuasion roll, because that was just for kind of Leaf's level of composure in my roll.
I'm literally like, I'm trying to do the eye contact,
Yeah,
heavy grounded, just kind of like,
parents.
you're going to be fine. It's not really that bad. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. It's just, give it a kiss. That is an 18.
Leaf looks like that, but it's nodding.
All right. We're going to get you healed up. You're going to tell us everything you know. Otherwise, we're going to kill you.
Stops nodding at that point, but might be more that just doesn't want to nod in agreement.
You get it.
Phoebe, do I hear what's happening?
What's your passage just about good enough to kind of, you can at least gather that it's very clear that Tender is trying to calm down someone who is currently corpse.
Polaris, do we need the other two?
That puts my character in a place I hadn't thought about.
Soz.
It's alright. 6 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah.
No!
Right.
That's the truthful answer.
We might know more.
Where are people in front of me?
How much had you moved when you came to the horses?
I was still floating.
Still flying.
Yeah, and I'm like, the range is 60 feet.
You're within that range.
Cool. Okay. Great. So I'm going to, you've got Leaf. Krisha is the messenger.
Yes.
Mantra is the other one.
Yep.
I'm going to try and Sacred Flame Mantra, please.
Okay. Is that a roll from me or you?
You. Dex saving throw, please. Oh no! Natural 1.
Try and incapacitate him if you can, rather. No?
Can you roll damage on that, please?
Yes, I can. Yeah, could, so, may I have another D8, please?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Oh no! 8 plus 6. That's a 14. Of fire.
Sacred Flame. At the moment, Phoebe is just almost kind of floating above all of this, just and killing something, and killing something, and killing Mantra. Just.
Hannah feels really awkward about this.
How's Phoebe feeling?
Phoebe's feeling fucking great.
Oh no.
Phoebe said in episode 1 that was the first time Phoebe killed anyone, and apparently it felt righteous, it felt appropriate, it was what she was meant to do. Was the description? Background to the NPCs.
Best friend. This doesn't make me feel good about when my daughter's been brought up.
Krisha is still basically has a large spear in her hands, trying to keep anyone at length, and then just decides, as like a warning shot slash a recommendation, a message, as it were, just looks back and just releases a huge burst of fire breath into the air, having seen what you're doing, and then just goes back to...
Chris is a dragonborn, yeah?
Yep, red dragonborn.
Just making sure it wasn't the person who could breathe fire, that's good.
Oh yeah. Let's not go too crazy in D&D, you know.
Can I respond verbally to that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, my reaction is, you want to stop that, or I will set you on fire.
That was kind of to tell you that it would be hard for you to do so.
Oh, trust me. It's fine.
I'm not with these people!
Okay, that's chill. Weapon down, won't hurt you then.
Oh yes, I absolutely trust you. And just is keeping that up. Aside from that, we've just got Lee, who is just... Please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
We've got off on the wrong foot here, haven't we?
What he's saying is there's still another foot.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not. We're supposed to be the.
Lee doesn't do anything else. That's all he can manage with what's happening right now, is saying, please stop. Over here, still...
No.
Oh, he had orders.
Of course, they had orders to grab the other two and go off the cliff.
Yep.
Right. I need to check how smart the here is.
I believe that it can constrict people, correct me if I'm wrong?
Yes, but does it want to bother constricting someone who's dead?
Oh,
Because Mantra was someone who was instructed to do that.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, Chris is right there.
I'm just going to check. Has at least enough wherewithal to go, that's not a person now, in his mind, goes for Krisha, is going to try and constrict. That's actually not a very good roll. Misses. Rolls 14, needed 16. So Krisha is still just wildly swinging this spear, and over here is going to stay there because it needs to stay there until it does the thing it was told to do.
Doesn't it make more quality attack?
18 on the dice. Sorry, that was a genuine forgetting from me. Thank you. So is able to constrict.
So the person we were just saying we're not going to hurt you. Yeah, good.
We're not technically.
Yeah, but they don't know.
Technically. Doing just what I said, or what they were told to do.
I didn't kill this one. Yay!
It has enough movement.
Is it smart enough to not? Is it smart enough to not want to kill itself by throwing itself off a cliff?
Isn't that a whole thing?
The thing is, dominate monster. I'm just going to double check.
I like suggestion.
But I think it's stronger than suggestion.
Right. I mean, it sounds stronger.
Might not do things that are obviously.
You suggest something and dominate something.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually have a clause in the spell that says, like suggestion, if you tell it to do something that's damaging to it.
Yeah.
It says that if you don't tell it to do anything, it'll preserve itself to the best of its ability, but it doesn't say that if you were to do something like that, that's why it's a dominating rather than a
Well, the
suggesting.
presence of it, the suggestion suggests that if it's not there, then
Yeah. So it's able to actually, Krisha thinks that she's fended this thing off after having just told you, I'm not with them.
no, you're not.
And then it just gets crunched into this behavior that wraps round and in a mass of swirling body and legs topples itself over this 90-foot cliff onto the frozen waters below, where shards of ice that once were waves crack out of the ground and land. And it's very safe to assume that nothing survived that particular incident.
I wouldn't know if I was still dominated because it's not like.
No. So, currently, we are going to come out of combat. The only person, there are zombies around. However,
Fuck him.
if you're paying any attention to them, they don't seem to be attacking. The individuals who actually gave them orders are now dead. You might have been able to gather that Leaf was not high up in this arrangement that they had here. And the zombies, unless they are interrupted, are just going to go and sit at the bottom of the monument that has been created with the sunken crown in it. They don't engage with you. They go there and they wait. Meanwhile, you have Leaf there. What would you like to do?
Where will let him go?
No.
Or what, like, just kind of like,
Clutches his leg that is just now bleeding.
All right then.
You've still got, yeah.
Yeah. If it would be more painful to actually pull it out, I leave it in, kind of thing. But it's like it's the equivalent of having a sword to someone's throat. And like,
It's going to be painful either way. He can't really move.
he's now down on the ground.
He's half over, like kind of on one knee.
All right, look at me, lad. What's your name?
Leaf.
Leaf.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, now, Leaf. We're gonna make sure that we're gonna heal you up, all right? First, you've got to get this trident out of you. That's gonna hurt like buggery.
Right.
All right. So, we've got something to bite down on, or a bit of a twig.
That's right.
There is kindling nearby because there was a campfire that's still
I'm
burning.
gonna go and I'm gonna get a little bit of kindling.
I mean, you have a dog. I can't fetch.
Can we just say that I don't even have to ask? Just across the stick anywhere. Oh.
Just keep doing it now. There's just a big pile of it.
Just need the one. All right, bite down on this Leaf. All right, we're gonna look after you. All right, but we're not as bad as we look. It's all been some big misunderstanding.
You roll me a fresh persuasion on that. It's taking the stick.
That is, I believe, another 18.
Okay.
Yes, another 18.
It's beginning to trust you.
Yeah.
And then bites down on the stick.
All right.
I retrieve something from my back and hand you it and say, pour this on. It is a bottle of rum.
Tender takes the cork out, I'm assuming, does a little sniff, swig, and then pours it out into the wound. Now!
Biting down on alcohol. Pulls out and Leaf just collapses to the floor.
There we are.
Clutching the various bits of his body that have been hurt.
There we are, Leaf. There we are. I'm actually going to go down onto the ground and just clutch and hold. And just hold his head. There we are. There we are, Leaf. And worst of it's over now. And then I'm just going to I'm just going to sing him a song. which is a healing song. It's the bardic sort of is there aren't any words to it yet. I don't think he's still coming up with it as he goes. He's just kind of going.
It's calming a little bit.
Yeah.
Still in a great deal of stress and distress, but calming at least.
I'm gonna. It's back down here yet?
I'm making my way downtown.
It's pretty easy for you.
I'm just gently floating down.
I promise this is going to end soon. I just want to do a thing. I'm looking at you and the way that you're walking. Can I do like a perception or something on the, like, because she just killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to kind of, I got 12 perception.
Is this, what are you trying to
I'm trying to figure out, she's just killed a lot of people with fire while flying. I'm trying to figure out if she understands what that means.
insight rather than perception on that?
In which case, that was still 12.
That's moderately good. You don't get any kind of major insight. I mean, Hannah, I'll let you answer whatever you think is fair for a 12 to get about Phoebe at that point.
I think understanding what it means is really difficult to articulate.
Yeah.
For her, it for some reason didn't feel as cool, I guess, as it did the first time. This second, third, fourth, and lots of horses. She's fine, but she's worried about how fine she is.
I'm just going to try and build a little bridge here, all right? Phoebe, I need you to come here.
Right?
I'm going to use my god power for the first time. I am gonna still cradling Leaf, like sort of, almost like your combat sort of cradle. I'm sitting down, crouched behind him. Phoebe, will you let this happen? Just let me touch you, all right? Just let me arm.
All right.
And I use the power to channel emotions between two different people, like the full force of an emotion that somebody is feeling at that time. You will just both feel that. So you'll feel his fear and his mistrust, and hopefully he will feel some sort of remorse, or like that we don't want to hurt him. Like we're not angry. Like we're not here to try and get some sort of righteous vengeance on whoever these people are.
I'm presuming Phoebe's willing in this.
Yeah.
You've managed to build up a bit of trust that this only works if both the people that you're in contact with are willing.
I'm also trying to teach Phoebe about the consequences of her actions.
What is that?
So Phoebe, that blood's in. And I guess one of the other things is how alone Lee feels.
Yeah.
Being the only person left in this camp. Alive, at least. Then yes, Lee, is there anything else that Lee would pick up? Because the insight was just what
I
Tender
could tell,
understood.
yeah.
All of your kind of surface feelings of what Lee will get.
Right. So is there anything else? I suppose I'm also in pain. Like, I'm trying really hard not to show it and to be totally, I'm useful, over and over and over again seems to be the biggest thing going through Phoebe's head at the minute.
Okay. That blood over. Is there any visual aspect, or is it just something that the individual experience?
I think it's just some individuals experience, and Tender kind of doesn't black out during it, but it certainly doesn't get either.
Yeah.
So it's a pipe, not a, it's just literally, like, just goes straight through, and it takes a lot of concentration to do, but it's just almost like just white noise of emotion for Tender at that point. It's just like, can't pick out either thing. He wouldn't be able to do anything else while he was doing this.
Yeah. That washes over, but you still get all that depth, but it is 6 seconds that you just feel that, and then it starts to ebb away into your own feelings. So those might change. Leaf starting to kind of shake less, still bleeding, still very much injured and hurt and wounded.
I did heal him, by the way, if we want to do the rolls. Wait for that, or are we sort of just saying that I healed him?
You'd have to do the rolls because he got very Lee kind of looks, isn't quite sure who was in control of that and who was communicating to him, because this is a power that's unique to you, and just looks over and I don't, if you didn't want to kill people, why did you?
Our backs were pretty much against the wall here, Leaf. We tried to, well, no, we did sneak in. And we did try and do this without killing anyone, but, well, then the big beastie woke up, and things sort of escalated from there.
Still processing. Is there anything, other people just watching this or gathering around this? Or
That's enough sticks now, dog. Thanks.
Generally, the dog has just sat down and is watching this most implacable run. Like, if there is an unreadable dog, Aware is incapable of understanding why people keep dying. Like, it is so counter to the way that they do business that anybody ever knows business is being done and then dies from it. There has been so much needless pain and death today that they genuinely are sat there going, why the hell am I here? And he's awful.
Thaddeus has walked over, but very slowly and not taking a heavy stance or getting involved in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Lara, are you watching?
I guess I'm still kind of stood next to Leaf. Having, since I withdrew my trident, still holding it. I think at the tail, as that conversation reaches that moment, I say, we are spectacularly bad at what we do. And for that,
What is it that you, sorry, I don't know what you do.
we stop you lot from putting that crown in that stone. Spectacularly bad, like I said.
Right.
For that you have my apologies, at least. What's the crown for?
You roll persuasion because Lee's built up trust with a couple of people now here.
I'm just afraid.
That isn't necessarily just about the
Yeah.
everything he knows about the food and operation.
Cool.
I just know the ritual. I'm not important.
You're very important, Leaf, all right? You're important to us. Because you must know something. Hey, what's this new dawn?
The dawn's just what we call ourselves. Dawn, new dawn.
Right? So why did that one that I obliterated with my mind powers? Why did that one say that it was a new dawn was coming before I obliterated them with my mind powers?
That's what that's part of. We're building it.
You're building a new dawn out of stones and crowns.
I can never remember there's, I think, looks over at Mantra's body. She had a book that points to one tent. I can't remember the words, what it's called.
Thaddeus wordlessly turns and walks towards the tent.
You just head in. It's just like an A-frame style tent. Various bits and pieces littered around, but it's not hidden spectacularly well. There is a kind of small camp bed, a few furs and such like personal effects, but there is a book on a table made of an upturned crate next to the bed.
Is there anything else of any books, notes, anything else that could be useful in here? Is there?
find a few other bits and pieces. One of them is a beautiful etching of an individual, a humanoid. On the back is just scrawled quite poorly a name, Maron Esnal, and the question, would they want to help? M-A-R-R-O-N. This is where you can't actually mispronounce the name. E-L-E-S-T-N-A-L. Would they want to help me?
So anything that I find, I give a little point at.
Wordlessly picking up everything that could be of use and then bringing it out and just sort of holding it out.
You find another one of the strange obsidian sending stones.
We got rocks.
It's great. It's just the same one that I pull out each time. I only have one. But yes, one of these strange sending stones that is very much unlike any that any of you have encountered before, because it seems to be carved from some kind of obsidian or similar. And you have that, the image of this individual, and a book called Tales at the End.
Thaddeus has not looked at any of these, he's just walking out and holding them towards people.
Yeah, good.
Also, Tales at the End, you would know that it's called that because it's written in Gnomish. Yes, these items are returned. I can never remember what it's called.
All right, well, that seems like the kind of thing that we could look into and maybe ask about back where we take, is there any way that you know that we can get the crown out of that stone?
No, I don't.
Thaddeus holds everything and goes towards the stone.
You rolled very well on history on the items from the
I did,
Lawrence
yeah.
thank you. So you're aware that stone, that crown grants immortality. The way that it does that is you can't damage anything that is worn by it.
So the rock is wearing it.
Is wearing it.
Yes.
So the rock is wearing a hat.
Mechanically. Yeah. But you're wandering over there.
Walk over to it and
4 zombies just sat waiting.
Play cards.
Smoking cigars.
Do you still have those objects on you, or have you left them with Leaf and the others?
I just put them in the satchel. Just put them in the satchel because no one wanted them. And just walk up to the stone and just look at it and tap on it.
No?
Can I roll some kind of check? Arcana, investigation is to...
Arcana would be if you're looking at whether it's even possible to release it now.
Yeah, I think I'll roll that. That's okay with me.
Arcana. You all, by the way, would have seen Ruff go into that tent and
Yes.
come out, so you're aware that that's been investigated.
14.
14.
Oh, no, sorry, 15.
15. You know a tiny bit about this crown, and with a 15 in Arcana, you can't see how you would damage this to get this out.
Turn around, walk back. So,
Thanks. Now, I suppose technically we have found it, and it's not going anywhere.
right.
So we can report back that it has been successfully left somewhere where we know where it is.
Maybe the tree can deal with it.
Exactly.
Phoebe looks down at Leaf and goes, well, I know why I'm here. Why are you here? Why are you mixed up with all this?
Roll persuasion. Just on, again, getting them to open up.
18.
Someone they said that if I became a part of this, that I I'd see my mum again, that I could get her back, and everything they said sounded really nice, and this is the only time it's been really bad. So they said once we build the thing, everything will be okay.
Do they have of your mum?
She's dead.
Right, okay.
I'm very sorry to hear that, Leaf.
Sorry.
There you go.
Is Leaf still sat on the ground?
Yeah.
But where it comes over and licks his face? It just kind of sits next to him. And there's a thing that big dogs do. Well, they'll just lean on you.
Oh, yeah.
He's now being leaned on by a mastiff.
Are you trying to project, I'm guessing with the licking and stuff, that you are no longer a threat? Or...
But not unless he's really tasty. No, this is an attempt at empathy. Like,
It's okay. I think starting to calm down and really good persuasion rolls, largely from others. So let's you lean on. I don't know much else.
That's all right, Leaf. Don't worry. Now we can't just let you go. You understand that? We're going to take you back to the people we work for. And they're going to make sure you're very well looked after. Just make sure you don't know anything else. All right? Maybe some things that you don't know, right? There's one thing I know is whatever they were planning, getting someone back from beyond, it's never what you hope for. Let's just let that lie, eh?
They promise.
Yeah, well, a lot of people,
They've got a plan.
yeah, they're all dead now, aren't they?
Because of you, not because of the plan.
Yeah, no, well, because the plan was bad, and that's why we were standing here. But I understand I'm trying to undo a lot of programming here, but I'm just trying to give you the hard facts, Leaf.
I thought,
We're the best chance you've got of staying alive.
You said you were going to kill me.
Probably not.
it said if you didn't like chat then, but you have, so.
And honestly, it was an empty threat.
Well, no, hold on.
I wasn't going to kill you. I probably don't have the means. I've not been doing very well the last couple of days. Probably try and kill you and end up spraining my wrist trying to strangle you.
Stop! What is wrong with you?
Just stop now.
Leaf, what I'm trying to say is, look, are you really wedded to these ideas that, you know, the new dawn have brought? Are you wedded to the ideas that, are you wedded to the promises they've made you? Because those are two different things. If you want a nice life, you can do that without them. If you want a life with them, then that's going to be a bit trickier.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know now.
It's been a big day, eh? Lots gone on. Why don't we'll take you back to our rhinoceros, and we'll take you back to town.
You should stay here.
What?
Why?
The ground is here.
You said
You can contact the tree.
people,
Tell them to come here.
people will come. We'll keep in touch with each other and they'll know there's no one here.
How many people?
What? All of us or how many come?
How many will come?
10, 20? I don't know, but there are things in place if stuff goes wrong and you're the person's right. I don't want you to kill me. I don't know much, but I know that.
How will they come here?
Sometimes teleporting, sometimes animals, sometimes other magic.
All right, well, I suppose we shall contact the tree. We'll stay here and guard the crown. It's going to be a thrilling adventure.
How badly hurt does the Leaf still look?
Very.
How badly hurt
Hearing wounds.
does everyone else look?
I'm all right.
Yeah, nothing.
Not scratch.
Miraculously, didn't actually get hit at all.
Sweet. So, just me then. If I heal you more, if they contact us, would you reply and say everything's all right? By that stone.
I can try.
Okay, that'll do.
Roll insight. Insight, yeah.
Okay. Insight comes after history. Oh my god, 19.
Leaf will definitely try. Leaf does not seem like a good liar or performer.
However, we do have somebody who, even on in visual and auditory means, can probably do quite a good job of impersonating. Well, you've already done it, right, Ralph?
Look at Lee. Turn into Lee. How's this? This all right?
Yeah, well, we could go someone a little higher up the chain, you know.
Who have I seen? I didn't see last person. I was too busy.
You did see, I think you saw Mantra. Yeah.
You also saw the woman you
Sounds like
eviscerated.
a bit more sarcastic.
So you.
Is this better? Oh, I'm better now. Is that better? Is that what you want?
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
But if you let Wrath's mantra now know what to say,
So like code word or something, so much you saying properly.
We did have a password. I don't know.
What's the password?
There are no birds or trees in this world.
No birds or trees in this world. I can handle that. No problem.
okay, and I cure wounds at second level. Cool. Yeah. It's a big boy.
Yeah.
Well, thank God, because it's a 2.
No.
1d8 plus my, what am I talking about? 2d8 plus my spellcasting.
Okay.
So my whiz is, sorry. I am a ferret. I love my dog. My dog does not talk to me. Sorry, I'm just going back to my what? I love being young. I don't understand it sometimes. Right. Where would I?
What's your wisdom score?
My wisdom is +5.
That's the point.
Great. Thank you. So that's a total of 7. Okay. Cool. And with that, I'm out of spells and it's all caught up to me. And I just sit down really, really hard. This has been really tiring. It's been a very big day.
Yeah.
And I was in someone else's head for a minute.
Tender, you're the only one with sending or anything like that.
I am. I was going to call my daughter. That's what I was saving that one slot for, but I guess we can do this in rest and I'll do it afterwards.
You are currently in a campsite. It's probably coming towards late afternoon.
Yeah.
Winter time, so the light will start to go soon. You are in the campsite. There's beds, there's food here, there's a campfire. You can rest here.
That's right.
Conversation's finished. Mantra flipping the soda around suddenly turns back into Thaddeus and just puts it away.
Right, it's probably best that we go and we're not going to fool anyone into that didn't work last time. We're not going to fool anyone into thinking that we are this new dawn, so we might as well just be us. We might as well bring ships and bottles back over here so we've got a quick getaway if we need it.
I start heading towards ships and bottles. Our rhino.
Just where you left him.
Good rhino.
He's a fake creature, you've got to tell him.
And I'll get in touch with the tree.
Okay, I assume half your
Yes.
immediate contact. Yes. What do you say? You've got 24 words.
Oh, so bad
And
at texting.
This is the first time you've done sending towards half
Yeah.
since you saw them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do this. 24 words.
Hello! It's me! Tender! Found Crown. Things got complicated. Crown is safe. Please come get. We will guard.
You've got 5 left.
Check on Splendid. I don't know, David just made an internal intelligence check of his own. Oh, yeah. I realised that. In Barrenlands. Check on Splendid in Barrenlands. Tender is canonically bad and Splendid. Splendid.
Dad's and texting.
Yeah.
A moment or two later, you get... Right! Suspenseful, leaving location to the end. Will make my way there, stay with Crown. 15. Will send someone to check on Splendid. Lie low.
A terrible.
Yes.
I'm really tired and I think I'm going to go have a nap. I'm sorry, I really tried. I'm going to bed now. And with that, Phoebe gets up, moves towards a standing tent, and attempts to pass out.
I think it's safe to say you can do that. With everything that's happened, there's just no adrenaline left in you. There's nothing carrying your body. And you just... Is there anything anyone else does?
Aware shifts their attention to Polaris and using the message says, are we tying him up? Is he putting in a tent? Are there guards? What are we doing with him?
Come on then. And then I walk over to Tender and I glance at Thaddeus. And then like just nod towards the, kind of
Nearby, in a shop.
and then walk a little way away with you two. Nicely done, Tender.
Or the bit where I fell down, or the bit where nearly everybody got killed? Which bit in particular? The bit where you thought the distraction was just to make a big loud noise. You know you can do distractions with images.
I cannot do that, no.
Right.
No, the bit where you got us the information that gives us at least some idea of what to do. Now, it's a little bit delicate, but when you say we are going to hand him over to the tree for captivity, are we handing him over to the tree for captivity? Or are we handing him over to the tree for captivity?
I've got to decide, we've got to decide exactly how much of a threat this lad is. It seems like he's just missing his mum. I don't think we're murderers. Evidence to the contrary.
No. No, I don't think we are. Suppose it comes down to once Hath gets here, he's perfectly capable of taking care of him, I'm sure. But in these few hours, we're a little unsure. Got a gambit that might not work. I've been in this situation at sea and I've done both things. Sometimes one works, sometimes one doesn't.
If you've got experience in the field and you can be in charge of that prisoner, by all means.
What would you do? I'm looking at Alwyn.
There's a thoughtful pause from the dog. And then in message, it's easy enough for me to stand watch. No one's going to get upset if the dog is outside their pen. If a dog could shrug, you get like a...
I don't want to kill the lad.
Neither do I.
Good.
Let's be clear there. But, all right.
I don't.
All right. We can calculate the risk, and doesn't seem like too great a one.
All right, Captain.
I'm not the captain. Not you.
Boss.
Since you mention it, when we've all had a bit of a rest, I think we need a bit of a debrief.
Yeah, I could do this one.
I'm still relatively hearty and I can shoot lightning from my fucking hands, so I will take the first watch.
Hard to argue with that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've said it, actually.
Yeah. Still good, though. Kind of good, I like it.
I don't do many of them, but
Oh, yeah, you got to from in where you can.
Are the rest of you taking a rest?
I'm gonna lie down. I'm just gonna lie down where he is.
I'm still keeping watch
Okay.
at this point, unless someone tells me not to.
Yeah.
That is the kind of person who would take the initiative.
So, those of you who are resting, go to rest. Those of you who are keeping watch as the fire, aside from the campfire that was burning when you arrived here, they all die out and you're just left with smoke on the air in the quiet of the aftermath. And that's where we're going to pause for the break. Authoritative start to the second half of the show!
we used to have a thunderclap.
I know, but this one doesn't yet have a distinctive noise that sums up everything about it. So, I mean, sure.
Let's go with that.
We are gonna come back in. I have said that because it seems it's what the party needs, a long rest can be taken at this point by anyone who is actually resting. But at the moment, that's just Tender and Phoebe, yes?
No, because two of the people went on watch. Aware went and curled up to put in his bed.
Lovely.
Good boy.
I intend to take a long rest, but to do like watch shit.
Yeah.
That's what.
Sensible.
Depending on how much of a time skip we have.
Do you and Wrath, or whatever persona Wrath is currently in,
Still that is.
Thaddeus and Polaris, I mean, you are both that Leaf wants to rest, but isn't really sure what he can do.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Do you engage with each other, or are you just having separate watches?
What's the plan? You went over there with the others and discussed the plan. What is it?
We hope that our gambit with the new dawn works. At least going as a day or so. In that time, the hearth can come. At the very least, offer an opinion on the situation of the crown. Maybe find some way to take it with it.
Right.
Leaf is trying to stay awake, but it's on the edge because it doesn't have anything.
We do what Tender said. Hand him over to captivity with the tree.
I understand that. What do you want to do about him now?
It's not ideal when you're keeping watch on the horizon, but we keep one eye on him at all times.
I can solve that problem.
How?
Magic.
Of what kind?
I can tell him not to go anywhere, and he won't for a long time. I'm casting suggestion on Leaf. Wisdom.
14.
He fails. You can sleep. You can rest. Do whatever you need. You do not leave his sight.
Lets himself on the ground there, not even in a tent.
Nicely done.
Turns out I had effective and knew.
What happened with the bear?
Guess I can add another one to the list. Just like last time, eh?
I told you what would happen if this turned out fast.
Then you did nothing to stop it, did you? And kept her. Kept him. I'll never forget what I did to him. Have it tally.
Did you keep all of them?
Only the ones that mean something.
I suppose you decide that. You decided what they needed to do, and then you went and did it for them. Sorry, you, specifically, Thaddeus. You went with that. Threw the first stone. Because the real Thaddeus didn't realize what he needed to do, really. Liberate his people. How did that go for Thaddeus?
What gives you the right, huh? Mr. High and Mighty. But you're covered in roses either.
You don't give me rights or responsibilities, they give me coin. I do what they ask me to do in exchange for that coin, I don't go outside my remit. That's what you did that day.
Was trying to help. Now, that is part of me.
That sounds so difficult for you.
Shipping out that is into you have no idea, do you?
No.
None. You think this is easy? Do you think it's easy? Huh? Not knowing who you are? Just taking everywhere you go, finding more things, finding people. Just back into Gwen. Look, this topic of conversation was really bothering Raph. Look, I know you're upset. Well, I do. We've been friends for some time now, haven't we? on some level, we're all aware of each other, and Wrath is still in charge, and they're young, but their heart's in the right place. You have to believe that. Tell me you believe that. So if you don't believe that, then what's the point?
What's the point of what?
All of this. What's the point of any of it? What's the point of trying to fit all these pieces together that I'm holding it together? You understand that, don't you? I'm the one holding it together.
You?
Yes.
I need to ask whether Gwen was present, if you like, in the aforementioned story we were talking about.
Gwen is one of the oldest personas that Rat has. Gwen is also entirely different. Well, not entirely. They saw someone who looked like them, but all the personality characteristics are entirely different.
You didn't keep them together then.
Rat didn't need me to keep them together.
Thaddeus did.
And now I've taken that on. And now we've taken that on. I'm sorry, I think that is said solemnly. Do you think there might be a reason why guilt has a face? You don't feel a shred of it. You were there too, just as culpable.
You don't know anything about what I feel. Or about me, actually. And if you want to throw stones about culpability, poor choice of words. My apologies.
So I'll throw coins next time. You seem to understand that better.
I said that I would only agree to this if it wasn't going to turn out like last time. Now, admittedly, so far, it hasn't.
Easy for you to say. Look around you. Tell me this is better than an entire crew being slaughtered because of something that I did. That Wrath did. That we did.
It is. I'm not demanding that you believe that. But it is. If you can get it into your head that actively interfering where we're not supposed to be and making things actively worse is, yes, worse than something regrettable like this, then I think we can work together.
I don't know if Wrath is going to be alright. If I'm going to be alright.
Can I speak to Rad?
It's hard not to feel guilty when I am literally defined by it. The sort of heart shift almost into Wrath, but the moment that Wrath is shifted into, there's just a sob, and then holding just back into Gwen. I really need to ask you not to try and talk to Wrath right now.
Alright?
Please. Lars, please. And I do know you understand. We're talking about we shared many, but I know how you feel. You're a mercenary, I understand. You have your choices that you make, and you, morally speaking, have some grey areas, but that's not a bad thing. It means you get results, and that. It's not pretty, but they are results, aren't they?
Then take a message for me.
along so it wouldn't.
Thank you. Thank you. Please keep trying to do that.
As you look at Polaris, there's a familiar feeling as it's like the dust and the ash and the smoke start to cascade over your vision. But we're going to come back to that in just a moment. Phoebe.
Yeah.
You collapse into a sleep, as often happens when you're asleep or dreaming or similar. A vision starts to coalesce, and Hannah picks up her pen. It feels like your vision is swelling with red, as though your eyes themselves are filling up with blood, too much of it in you. And then there is a blink, and suddenly it's just that everything you see is coloured with a rose tint. Everything you look at, but what you can mainly see forming are two roads that in a kind of dream sensation stay parallel to each other, but at times move away from each other. One of them somehow shaping into a coil that feels at once like a road, but also like a noose that is getting tighter and tighter, and you start hearing a version of that phrase that has been plaguing your visions for a few days now, but in this time it's anyone could be listening. Not it's anyone's fault, not this is due to anyone could be listening. And you feel yourself treading between these two roads, and the other one is going straight ahead to various crossroads that almost seem to kind of interlink and make this huge mosaic, almost like a puzzle on the ground. And a new different voice comes in, and it says, "They're here, and they're coming, the ghostly tale. A ghostly tale." And these particular images start to crowd in on each other, like it's too much for your mind, like there's too many thoughts and too many ideas for one person to think of, and then black for the rest of the night as you sleep. Rest. A grey mist or veil starts clouding over your vision, and you can still see Polaris. And you can still see everything around you, but it's as though it's through a veil, it's as though you're at some kind of remove, and you're no longer quite in the Barrenlands somehow. And you can hear a sound of multiple feet crunching on the ground. The two familiar footsteps leading, and 12 following on behind. And a form starts to coalesce. It's always hard to look at the edges of their form, but you're familiar with them. It's a femme figure with black hair tumbling past their shoulders and a black beard spindling down to their chest, who wears a robe that if you try to pinpoint the edges of it just fades away into the grey. And they're followed along by 3 wolves. And standing at 9 feet tall, just slightly larger than someone should be, and they just sit down near the kind of campfire near you. Hello.
And I need them.
You've been tumbling through them, but right now you're in rapid. You wanted to change, but it feels like they're trying to pull you towards rapid. And for the benefit of the audience, this is Callisto, who is the god that Raph is descended from.
So when? I can't. Please don't. I'm not ready. I'm bereavement. Oh, good. I'll just start not talking about history, shall I? Past never happened, future still coming. Hard being them all. Well, quite a few of them are not exactly pleased with me. A few of them don't like me very much. Yep. Wish I could be it. Everywhere I go, I just make a mess of it. Your great counsel is to work as a team. Testing up my trust in one person who definitively doesn't like me very much, and 3 people I know sweet fuck all about. That's well, it's not giving me a lot back, has it? Never let me forget, do you? Trying to do by keeping hold. You do what you asked with me, but that I don't understand. Yet, I suppose. What a rosy tint of the future. So trust people and keep trying. Okay. Certainly are not. Thank That was very informative, thank you. Okay. As always, the greatest of respect. Go back into reality. I don't know if there's anything else.
And course do just fades as the rest of the world fades in. And you know those wolves represent the three strands of Callisto's domain of past, history, and remembrance, and that they look like how you feel about those things. And no time will have passed for you in that.
Except that shifted to rest.
And it may have looked somehow slightly different, the shift, but in a way you can't really understand.
Right. I'm sorry.
That's what you took from that.
From what?
I came within, let's say, a few yards of admitting that at least tangentially relevant to me taking this little assignment was some fragment of concern that you might cause some harm to others, but a smidgen of further harm to yourself. And your answer is to apologize.
Yes, it is. Because you have other people to be looking after. We both do.
My crew are in safe hands.
Hislop.
Right, yeah. I said to Tender and Aware, I think we're overdue a debrief.
You do have a way with words, don't you? Why don't you just turn around and say it? We need to be slightly more, I'll give up saying this, like a team. Debriefs and all that sort of thing are well and good, but you're very good at one thing in particular.
Shooting lightning out of my ass.
No, you direct idiot. You're a leader. You're good at looking after people. You genuinely care.
Again, I don't know on what level you got that from what I was saying.
You and I have known each other a long time, and I know you, and I know that you do. Just as Gwen, we all know that you do, darling. But I love about you, Matt. Take the helm. It's what we're good at. Look after all of us. I don't know about Aware, the Unchangeling, but he's very young. Tender's
Past it.
You said it already.
59 and life expectancy for his race is about 80.
That's canonically retired, though.
Yeah. So I've done my adventuring. Yeah.
You're remarkable. When you're standing in front of a group of people and making them all work together effectively is what you're good at what you do. Do that for us now.
It's the wind.
What?
The wind, the waves, the storms. That's what makes people work together. Sometimes somebody shouts over the storm. That's all I'm about.
So shout at the storm. And I promise I will try harder to not make it worse again. Alright?
Just if you diagnose what another group of people's problem is, don't try and fix it for them.
Just that into that. And there again is where we differ. I can't go to sleep now because if I do, that breaks. So,
It is coming to the time where you need to switch over to the next watch.
I'll stay up as long as I can. I need a short rest anyway. Or luck.
Just to the camera.
But in the meantime, I'll stay. Alright? Captain?
I get up and I take a length of hefty ship's rope and just methodically tie it. I'm very good at knots for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Thank you. Around one ankle of Lee.
Where is the other end of the rope going?
That's the interesting part. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you just going to sleep out in the open then?
I mean,
Or
it's
if
under
it's-
orders
if it-
not to leave my side.
If it's 50 feet,
Yeah.
you can reach your tent and sleep in
Yeah.
there, and it,
I go into the tent. And he's under orders not to leave my side.
yeah,
So if the suggestion breaks, I'll know that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that I'm doing mainly as a gesture actually for Raph.
yeah.
To give them something of like, I'm helping out. But, yeah.
Is it just Raph staying up the remainder of the?
I will go because of watch
Yeah.
stuff. I will go and probably go and get aware actually. Yeah, I go and like.
Yeah.
Oh, because you look like you do look like a dog still.
Yeah.
You're not a dog, so I don't want to be patronising. But I need to wake you up. I don't know how to wake dogs up. Oh. No, I'll crouch over you. Aware. Your watch.
There's a hop, and then the dog kind of like slinks down, and like as they're going through the tent flap, look back and sits directly next to.
But yeah, Leaf is still asleep. Is there anything anyone would like to do before morning? Obviously, some of you are sleeping and resting, but otherwise you will.
Before that turns up that it is guarding Lee, and if Lee is tied to Polaris's ankle, then at a certain point I will also rest and spell that off.
Yeah, but yeah, still asleep.
Yeah, I feel like
So Aware is awake and is probably the only one who sees. As it's now morning of the next day, feel free to press long rest buttons. I'm pretty sure I've already had.
Where is the long rest button?
We're on mine.
The sun rises and light just cascades into this place. Because whilst it's quite hot nothing to block out the strong winter sun. And you see on a sled pulled by another rhino, two figures that you recognise. Half an elderly female Genasi who has kind of blue flames that cascade through some of her hair and also crack through her skin as though she's in her old age beginning to overheat and start to very slowly combust. And a elf woman with poker straight slicked back black hair, a long kind of flowing robe, who you know as Theristea, slowly coming in, cresting over the small rocky outcrops of the Barrenlands and coming up to the camp. The zombies are still just sat.
There's zombies in this.
Very, very, very patiently waiting. I'm happy for other people to wake up around this point, unless you definitely...
I set up a mark. Like, as soon as they come within sight, there's a very loud bark.
Yeah. Definitely roused by barking.
Yeah.
Land.
Tender rolls over to look for Calpurnia next to him in bed, and they are not there. It's just a kind of that moment where you're like, oh yeah, this is what's happening now, isn't it?
You realise when you wake up, and Half is currently dismounting the sled from behind. The rhino pulls up to ships and bottles, the other rhino. And then also summoned by Theristea, as Theristea steps off. And I'm assuming people are kind of getting out of tents. Leaf just tries to do as little as possible and draws little attention to himself, but doesn't interfere with the rope.
Sort of makes our rhino a bit less special, doesn't it? Kind of thought like, oh, we got the one rhino, and it was just like a crapshoot as to what. You just do rhinos, do you, Theristea? Is that what you do?
Can you roll insight on Theristea?
I went back to my stupid bad dice, and that is a... I know. Why do I keep going back to you? That was, what was it, insight, you say?
Yeah.
That's a 5.
Theristea
Rhinos, eh? Just rhinos.
seems different, but you can't quite tell why. So you're just shouting rhinos.
Yeah. We named our rhino. Sure, cool.
We haven't thought to name it.
Yeah, didn't think so. A rhino special.
What's this really about, friend?
Just always wanted a rhino. Now I've got one, and it's going to have to go away, isn't it? Because it's not real.
Well, so we've had
Sorry,
the rhino part of the chat.
I've woken up in a bad mood.
Half just steps forward to try and kind of corral. Yes, well, hopefully at some point you'll be in a slightly better mood, but perhaps right now, move on from rhinos and talk about this and point at smouldering corpses, dead bodies.
We should have buried them, shouldn't we?
General mess understands the scorch marks of your presence here yesterday.
Phoebe immediately steps up and goes, we eliminated some threats, we've got a prisoner, and the crown is in stone and we can't shift it, but we've got the other item, and
there were 3, firstly.
okay.
Which one do you have?
Got the sword that is bad. Bad sword, don't touch it.
Right, this one goes. Right.
And the sunken crown is in that rock, and we can't shift it.
You're welcome.
Polaris respects this.
You know what?
As a man who's tried to lawyer his way into completing contracts before. This is like, I didn't know Tender did this.
Tender so wants to go home.
My coin.
And actually, you're welcome. Phoebe kind of looks back and goes, yeah, you're welcome.
Right, steady.
You're quite right. Five burning steeds. It feels like it's my birthday. Right.
Do you burn horses on your birthday?
Personally, are you fine?
Why would you burn one horse on one?
I was attempting to be facetious, but I can tell you are evidently too tired to appreciate that, so I will go back to being incredibly straight with you. Whilst I do appreciate that you have located, at least, if not retrieved, the crown, and have retrieved the Sword of Ghosts, I'm still concerned about the gauntlet. I wish to know exactly why it was necessary to kill this many people. Whilst I appreciate there is someone here who, well, at least at some point will be able to talk to us, I would appreciate any other information that you may have gleaned during this spree.
They wear masks. They're made of bronze, and they are called the New Dawn.
Right.
Somebody else take over from me before I say something stupid.
They're building something. Promising people that them that have died will be back.
There's more in this book. It's in there, which I can't read it.
I don't know. No, right. There's a small... The dog looks at Hearth and then says, if you could, maybe... Whoa! In message, you we've established because of specific powers that if you could avoid looking at the dog, that would be great. The title of the book is Tales of the End. I haven't been able to read it yet. These people don't seem to mind dying. In fact, they seem to enjoy it quite a bit. Interesting. Well, I will... Just places the book in front of the dog. Because she can't hand it over. Places it...
What do you think?
Your friend is able to read Gnomish. Would someone else please? I don't know exactly what is relevant to that. Does that one there? No, like pointing at Lee.
There's something that has hands.
Oh God.
Oh, mate.
Wes abilities go beyond a normal changeling because of their deity. It's up to you, Griff. There is a deep breath. And the wearer turns slowly into their approximation of what an elvish druid must look like. This druid looks to be in their mid-50s. They are fairly tall, kind of wirily muscular. And they have a deep scar across one eye, which leaves the scarred eye kind of a milky, pale color. They stand, walk over to Leaf, put their hand on the back of Leaf's head, and look deeply into his eyes. I have done everything in my power to make sure that you don't know anything that means you have to die. And I think we can both agree that you would like that to be the case. I don't know, I guess. So you quite like the little doggy, don't you? The dog that bit me. The one that saved you from being burned alive, yes. I don't understand what look in my eye, darling. Yes. Do you want to die? I don't know now. You've had a bit of a day, haven't you, dear? If you would like to continue living, your
saw anyone speak to a dog, or that there was ever anything here besides a dog, aren't you?
Okay.
Good. I like you. Let's keep it that way.
Okay.
Thank you, darling.
Now, would somebody like me to read a book?
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
Thank you.
What do I need? I'll start flipping.
It's relatively well thumbed, but there is a big split in the spine of it where there's obviously a specific area. If you thumb through, different chapters seem to be about different prophecies, different magical events, all ones that are somehow tailored to these people thought the world was going to end like this, and these people wanted to bring about some kind of end by this. The chapter that is obviously the one that has been read the most and where the book naturally falls. It's titled The Asterno Circle. And you start reading and it mentions about a time maybe 750 years ago in the current history. This is stuff that as you read, you can make a history roll to go whether you had any faint awareness of this passed down by generations or anything like that. About 750 years ago, small monuments popping up around the edges of Nicara in different areas where some groups seem to be building something. This was ultimately stopped by various powerful individuals at the time, though there was some secrecy and no one was able to tell exactly what they were trying to do to bring about what they were trying to bring about with this, but there were a huge number of conspiracy theories. They were trying to build a circle of death or a circle of power. They were trying to transport Nicara into a different plane. A huge number of conspiracy theories that this book in this chapter talks about. What was the history roll?
Non-natural one.
You've heard about this? The information in the book is kind of coming back to you, but for your people who don't live for, say, like 1,000 years or several hundred years, like other races do, it's not treated as any kind of present threat, anything real, anything within living memory. It's almost slightly mythic in how it's treated.
Half, darling.
Yes.
Lovely to see you again. It seems that these Dawn people are obsessed with some kind of powerful circle. As far as I know, nothing like this has ever been tried before. It's some kind of extreme portal, death, end of the world. Nobody's ever done it.
Right. Just a circle.
Some kind of gateway, summoning area, something of power.
Wait, does it have a name?
It does, that's not.
Asterno.
The Asterno circle.
Everyone make insight rolls on her.
I always take proficiency in insight, by the way, folks. That's just a thing you should do in campaigns for moments like this. Have fun.
16.
16? We're going to leave Tom to last. 16?
6.
4?
21.
21?
It's lucky for someone it's a baker's dozen. It's 13, and I'm trying to gloss over that.
Those of you who got above 10, you get this. Those of you below 10, for some reason you're oblivious. It would be difficult for the colour to drain out of Half's face, because Half is lit from within. But everything else speaks of that is not a term that should be said, that is not something that should be countenanced. Why on earth is that happening?
None of us all know anything about it.
Feel free, now that it's all been set out, those of you who weren't reading, everyone except Ware, feel free to roll history. This is just whether you wouldn't have been old enough, because this was 750 years ago, but it's whether you have any awareness of this thing.
I keep switching dice. It's not like I'm using the same dice. It's not one. I know what the external circle is. It's a kind of biscuit.
Ironic too is the
I too am going to play my result. I don't know anything about that. It was 7,500 years ago.
I got an 8. So
The rest of you, this, for whatever reason, but much like any kind of real world thing that happened 750 years ago, a couple of people in this room might be aware of it for various reasons, but otherwise, why? And magic and things like this are relatively common in the craft. Asterno.
It's delightful. Yeah, it's like quite creamy.
You've potentially distracted, yes, of course, reaches in, brings out a smooth stone, which is much more the type of sending stone that you are familiar with, hands it over to you. The other half's been delivered, I presume she has it now.
Thank you. Does this work? I get to have more than 25. I struggle with the limits. Do I still have limits?
Unfortunately, once a day.
But
We'll see if we can get you an entire bag of pebbles at some point.
Sending pebbles? Or just pebbles? Alright, thank you. He's just going to immediately disappear.
I can get you a bag of pebbles.
I don't know where this idea that I need pebbles has come from. I could really go for a sterno circle right now, though.
Half turns to Theristea and says, would you, you'll secure the area and some such. And Theristea, I know this is a lot of insight rolls. Everyone apart from David can roll insight if you want to, because Theristea is behaving a little bit differently and oddly than you last met her.
Being punished.
17.
Who's Theristea?
Somehow Phoebe is the only one who manages to intuit this. Theristea is, maybe it's some of the pompousness, maybe it's some of the slight patronizing level that's gone down. You sense that Theristea didn't know who you all are, both in the sense of being the tree and being descended from deities, and has since been filled in on that by half. Wait. She worships the deity you're descended from.
Oh god.
What's going on with me right now? Wait, which one?
Theristea.
Yeah.
Theristea's not making eye contact with you right now.
Just you're saying that, right, cool. Yeah.
We know that she worships the god that you
Of course, that came up.
Dusk before the dawn or not?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that did happen.
Does that mean our deal's been broken?
Ooh. Well, no, it didn't.
Theristea is a member of the tree.
Does the whole organization know?
You'd have to ask. And also, you've not intuited that that's changed in Theristea.
Okay.
just me.
But we'll see. Theristea just looks, yes, and there is a weird glance to you. As she walks past and begins performing warding spells and such like to help secure the area and presumably arrange some kind of protection and security for the area when you have left.
As that is happening, we'll call this one Callisto. Turns and looks at your current life. Wrath. Darn, was there a picture as well? Didn't we have some kind of a little etching, I thought?
Yep, there's another one of these.
A fine etching indeed.
And also this.
Right, takes it remember the name.
Any
Yes.
idea who Maron? Oh,
No, but I can ask around, obviously. I presume that if I speak to you briefly, you can pass on anything that Tender misses to him, yes?
I'm guessing that a sterno is a bad thing. I'm guessing it's a problem.
I would presume so. What did you find at the Lorinari house?
The sword, and well, it was being put in some kind of wooden arm circle. I think I started to see a connection.
Are we henge busters?
Change the title of the show.
If we may put such things to one side, very briefly,
Henges or bits? It was half serious. A lot of henges involved.
did the henge serve any purpose?
Yes.
Yes.
It's,
It aged, sorry.
no, go.
It aged. Tender. I mean, look,
Well, we don't know the sword didn't do that, but they put the sword in the middle of the head.
Well, it seems like the power in these things is some kind of source which is drawn to have its effect.
Maybe it's amplification. I don't, it's just a guess.
it was made of
No, that's
wood.
good for you.
It was made of
Thank
wood.
you.
Yeah, this one's stone.
I guess we're going to the ice for the next.
Grass. Maybe.
Pot of sack.
Diamond.
Oh no.
Let's get comfortable for a moment, shall we? And half
Very
sit
cool.
down by the still kind of dwindling but present campfire, and kind of gestures for you all to, you can stay stood if you wish. Right, so from what you're currently telling me, there are some individuals, the New Dawn, who have taken it upon themselves, it would appear, to try to rebuild the Asterno Circle. You don't quite understand. 750 years ago, someone attempted to build something. We weren't quite sure. Obviously, I wasn't present, but the tree was. We didn't know what the purpose of it was. We thankfully were able to prevent them from building it. Well, completing it. We know some of the points where they were obviously putting these henge bits in place. We weren't ever quite sure exactly what the purpose of it was, but normally when someone takes on such a grand monument with such intense secrecy, you don't have much faith that it's anything good. So, that seems to be what's happening here, and it seems that the smaller scale one that you encountered doesn't exactly have a positive effect.
Lee, do you remember, apart from bringing back your mum, what was promised to you if you managed to get this one going?
This is just part of it. So all of them had to get going.
And then,
And then everyone, they just said we'd get back everyone we ever lost.
everyone,
I was just thinking about my mum, I didn't really think about that.
fair enough. I'd look at half and go, Leith deserves to be looked after. Maybe he'll be able to remember more later.
Right.
We can't travel with him.
I wasn't about to propose we did.
So, right, good. But if it's about resurrection, why don't we destroy the henges that already exist? Because then it's really delaying them. If you knew that this was a problem, why leave them up? Sorry if that's
sword and build the stone when it grew. Fair enough. Although, that being said, it doesn't seem to have worked terribly well. I'm not sure why, but they seem to have misplaced some of the component parts.
I see. Well, that is something that was achieved, I suppose. Meanwhile, and you've gone off to the side with your standing stone. You get one of these.
Family content.
This allows you to
One
spend
extra standing in there.
one stone.
This is not. Top content. It's not.
Hello, Glenn. It's me. 10. How is Jax? Also you. Sorry taking longer. Things got difficult. I'm older.
You are correct.
But so you. Love you. Very, very.
A few moments go by, and then you hear in your head, "Hi.
That's my girl.
Jax, fine. I'm fine. He's teaching me crossbows. How much longer? And yeah, that's how time works. Am I at
That's
14 or 19? 14?
Or is that 14?
Tell me you're being nice to Phoebe. Love, very, very.
Yeah.
You can't use it.
No. 10 were just like, that is enough for him to think about what he's going to say tomorrow when he can do it again. And just do a little kind of, he's going to flip the sending stone up in the air and kind of like catch it and put it in his pocket.
Please catch it.
Is your dexterity save?
save.
Last save.
That's a save?
Yeah, I'm going to find.
Where's me?
Or let's hope we actually talk into a temple for the next
You're in Ashfields. This is not like volcanic rock.
Plus 4.
Six.
DC was 5.
Catching something you had.
Just as it should. It's just it's kind of like, that's my girl. All right, it's cracked.
It's 100 quid to get that.
I'm fine. It's just a bit. It's just a small crack.
You can come back into the circle as Harth is finishing explaining what the external circle is and gathering that information about. You've found like a smaller version. There are locations around the country that they are partially aware of. Senda, thank you for rejoining us.
Yeah, did we manage to figure out what's going on with the evil biscuits? Or
Your colleagues, shall we say, will fill you in.
Right. across a few of them.
Yeah.
Busted them right good.
Was there any other information you were able to ascertain? As Chloe, you have like a couple of notes that you found of Laurie and I, and else, but that's pretty much it.
I would reiterate the point made earlier. They're not scared of dying.
Well, then don't try to scare them with dying. Potentially a new tactic might be in order.
A few of them have removed that option from us.
What do you mean?
One or two of them have fallen on their own sword.
One disintegrated himself.
Well, then we do have some people who are rather... I'm terribly sorry.
No, it's all right. It's just I thought we were going with the idea that I did disintegrate it with my mind powers, but it's all right. Yeah, no, kill it. They killed themselves. Fine.
They also do seem to have quite a few undead friends and did promise that they'd bring this boy's mother back, so some of you get deathy about the whole thing, really.
That was sort of what I was alluding to.
Yeah. Leaf doesn't seem to want to die, though.
Leaf wants his mother back.
Yeah.
Leaf is just kind of nodding, but just doesn't know really what to say.
It's all right. Not wanting to die is the default. That's fine.
Right, well, yes, if these people are not afraid of death, obviously don't threaten them with it. Obviously, if they remove that option from you, try to make sure that they're not aware you're you. We do have various people who are rather good at that, and despite some of the unnecessary fallout here, I am aware that you are still rather capable individuals.
I feel like we've not managed to actually find anything about the gauntlet. Am I wrong? There's nothing about a big blob anywhere.
Hang on.
You have found some information
Yeah.
about the number about people that
Well, originally, Cosmoman and Utherine were not crossed out on that first note, so Utherine was probably a good bet as any.
Right.
Brian was on the note that mentioned the heart of beasts.
There was also something about a heart of beast, but I don't remember that bit, but you do.
Yeah, I do. There's a big egg. Heart of beast is a thing that they seem to be after. Not on our list, so I didn't really pay it much mind, but...
They also seem to have something to do with Medusa.
Right. That's anything, yeah. The heart of beast is another powerful item. If what you say is accurate, that they're somehow powering things or amplifying or some such, it makes sense that they would go after something like that. Uthroin, you say, yes?
There's a list of locations on a bit of paper, and Uthroin is not crossed off, but the rest are.
Do you know anything about a ghostly tale?
Sorry. Are you asking me to tell you a ghost story?
No, I'm asking if there's a book or something along those lines, or if there's an item. The words came up.
The ghostly tale. Wait, I'm sorry, where did the words come up?
It's been very busy. We've been looking at a lot of books and things. Words come up. Yeah.
I'm not personally acquainted with anything entitled a ghostly tale, no.
Alright, not a problem. Just, seeing as we're throwing around things that we don't know about.
Was it a reference to the sword? Because the sword's sort of ghosts.
Sword does look a bit like a
Tales
tail.
at the End. You've got a book called Tales at the End. Maybe it's the same. I don't.
Right.
Put the sword in the book. Stab the book with a sword. Right? Cracks it wide open, this one.
May I perhaps suggest that if it seems there is an item that they may be after, and a location where it may be, that might be a good port of call. I am aware that obviously you were originally contracted for a couple of days, but if this information is correct, this is far greater than a simple matter of some magical items being stolen from one location. This is a monument that appears to threaten potentially everyone, being built by some unknown people who quite clearly want to keep their intentions cloaked.
Actually, darling, I'm going to be fulfill any contract that we've made, I do think it might be somewhat comforting that we've destroyed one of the hinges and disabled another. If it all has to work together, then there's no way that it can now.
These people seem rather keen on achieving their ends.
As are we.
Therefore, we should keep acting with such keenness to make sure they don't repair things we have broken, rebuild things that we have destroyed.
A fantastic idea. Would you like to take the sword off first? I don't think any of us want it.
I really don't want it.
Absolutely, yes.
Darling, where's that pack I let you carry? Yes, dear.
I've got the head of the
Yeah, I just take it out of my backpack and hand it over a bit gingerly.
So it's the bag of holding now. Everything's been stored in the bag. I'm going to open the bag and gesture towards you.
I don't want to touch it myself. It's the sword one.
Yes, understood.
I wouldn't.
I'm aware of the sword's properties, but it seems that someone must take it, obviously. So, reaches in. I'm presuming that in your bag of holding it's possible to find the thing that you want.
I'm going to guess it feels different than the other several swords I have stored in there.
You think of the item that you
Yeah.
half turns to ash.
Hart briefly looks horrified, grits her teeth, and seems to just struggle her way through the next 6 seconds, and then pulls it closer to her. A sword that looks like it's forged of glass with kind of swirling fog inside. Just holds it by her side. Right. Can I trust that should your contract be extended, as is what I am, let's not say suggesting, let's say stating now, you will continue to investigate this? I'm aware it's more time away from those you care about, but might I venture that it will go some way to hopefully protecting them from whatever this is?
Yeah, I'm no idiot. I know that if this is a fate of the world situation, then yes, I'm going to do what needs to be done. But Splendid can't just stay. I had an agreement with Jax. I'm going to have to find somewhere else for her to stay, or if you can get in touch with Cal. I know she's not necessarily part of the tree, but
No, that's understandable. We can arrange something, and you have the ability to check in.
yeah, that's the bare minimum.
Sending me regularly, and I can give you updates until we know exactly where the safest place for them to be is.
Good. Thank you.
For myself, of course, I'm happy to continue on with the work as long as it needs doing, provided that all of our agreements stand.
Yes.
In toto, complete.
Yes.
Thank you, darling.
Right. Well, we should organise some sort of means to Uthroin. Very fortunate that we have Theristea with us. Right. And kind of waves to Theristea, beckoning her over. Theristea comes up, keeping a slightly longer distance between herself and you all than before. Theristea, I assume you're familiar with the circle at Uthroin. Yes. Delighted to help. To lend whatever power I can. Power being one of the domains of that god.
All right, yeah.
I missed something.
Apologies.
She's being weird, but she's figured it out. It's always like this. The minute they know, people are weird about it.
Apologies, I didn't mean to. Darling, is there something you wanted to say? I can prepare a teleportation circle for you. You'll just need to step in within a few seconds of me creating it, and it will take you to the throne.
Yeah, you will use teleportation. All right, good.
Right. Thank you, dear. If it's anything like the rhino, I'm sure it'll be lovely. Well, that to be of some service and use. Right. It's now more patent on her face that she's failed and she's being ridiculed in front of someone who is the physical incarnation of the god she worships. She can't even quite hide it. Right, so, that seems to be everything. Please send me updates if you go somewhere new. Always useful to keep track and such. You've got that for splendid. Keep in touch, update us on any developments, and we will do the same to you. Right.
All right.
Yes, all right.
I'm very happy to extend the contract, but I'm being honest with everybody now. It's a little indelicate, but if you could make sure I see the paperwork at some point about the team leader rate and it's higher. So.
Freelance life.
Delighted to see that you're in an apt position for yourself. I will make sure that information gets to you in some form. Right. Shall we? Seems like you might be racing against some others, so...
Yep.
Time.
History must not repeat itself.
Right, exactly. Sarah steps forward, starts swirling her hands around, less performative and showy-offy than before, and a glowing sigil, slightly uneven from the rocks that it's on, presents itself in front of you with the circle kind of just completing, and then just a few seconds. One, then two.
No, yeah, of course. I'm going to find the rhino.
I'd be last to say something to Paris.
Dad's talking to me and I don't understand what he's saying, but I'll keep you updated, and I step right through.
1, 2, 3, together. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I take half a step and I turn to Paris. I didn't mean to be rude. And I kind of summon the beginnings of a lightning bolt from my hand. And she gave me this. I'm made of water.
Quite a contrast. Contrast being another domain.
Just think on that.
Might drop your way through teleportation.
Pretty much. Just like,
Two things happen at once here. You all step through, and it feels it is taking a step, and you appear in Utheroin. The two things that happen at once. Now, Wrath,
Yeah.
you hold a sending stone.
Yep, that's one.
One other person holds one other sending stone.
Oh,
And the
black ones,
obsidian one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have the other.
yeah.
So, you appear, you walk into. Utheroin is a fjord which is surrounded by mountains and hills that have caverns and caves, and you appear on a teleportation circle and you are surrounded by water. You can see bioluminescent pieces of light, presumably from small animals that are around here. There might be a surface that you can see some way up, and down here it's a little bit too dark to see what there is, but you just step through.
you are underwater. That is the first thing that happens. The second thing that happens... the second thing that happens... I hate to tell you this, Tom. We are past 10:30. So, the second thing that happens is the two of you in your heads hear a voice. And that voice, they're not going to use 24. No, they don't need that many. So, suddenly, underwater, the feeling of the pressure of water up against your ears, the taste of salt water up against your tongue, your body entirely submerged as you just suddenly step into this space, and both of you in your heads hear a voice go, "Right, very excited to meet you. I know I will soon, and I'll fireproof things next time, shall I?" And that's where we're going to finish.
Why might not attend it?
Tom is going to have to wait a whole month before he gets to do the water stuff. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are Adventurers Wanted. We do a whole range of live shows and streams. This is the first Tuesday of every month, but it's also streamed the first Wednesday of every month on www.twitch.tv/Adventurers Wanted, where we also stream a whole host of other things. This Friday, we're delighted to be streaming a Modifius game. It's Star Trek Adventures. It's at 5 p.m. It's going to be on our Twitch and also twitch.tv/Modifius. On Monday, we have a new D&D campaign stream-only launching, which is DM'd by Chris, which is called Baldur's Gate Framed, and is about 10 hard types gone wrong. And that will be on our Twitch at 6 to 9 p.m. every Monday, and also twitch.tv/D&D, the official D&D channel, which is super cool. Those things are also, again, sponsored by D&D Beyond and Ultra Pro. We also do various other live events. If you check us out on Twitter @Adventures250, everywhere else we're Adventurers Wanted. We've got loads of past campaigns and videos on YouTube, that kind of thing. We also have a Patreon and a donate button on our website if you want to support us in any way. Patreon gets you free tickets to this. It gets you things like this as playable modules at home. It gets you blogs, loads of different things. I'm trying to think of other things that we do. We're also going to be in Bedford this weekend. If anyone's going to be in Bedford, running games and workshops.
Sometimes like, I don't have an excuse.
I'm going to throw for plugs in a moment, but first, thanks to the Dawnless Rose, we have a lovely set of dice to give away. Does everyone have a raffle ticket? Yeah? Okay. Chaz, why don't you get involved with me? Do a thing and pull out of it.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm looking away to your phone that.
187.
100.
Do check out the Thornless Rose. She also provided us with these beautiful dice trays that we will be giving away in future months and things like that. Those are really cool leatherwork accessories and dice. I'm going to throw to lovely players to my left and right to plug things that they may be involved in, other stuff you can see them in, cool things.
I am doing things. I'm in. Sorry, I didn't expect to go this way first. I think I can say it now. I'm currently doing Secret Cinema, Stranger Things, and that's why it's attached, and it's very good. Come and do it. It's fun. And the other thing I'm going to plug is Disco Elysium, which I'm not in, but it's really good. Just go and play it if you've got a PC. It's great fun.
The last thing I plugged back in December was not voting Conservative, so
thanks, guys.
So I'm not going to just take that as a whatever I want goes wrong plug. So I'm still going to plug something I care about. I have the great privilege of being part of a company called Parabolic Theatre. We are currently doing a show called Bridge Command. It is running until early February. It is very good. Various people whose faces you can see in this room are involved in it. You and 5 other people, hopefully your friends, if you can get them all together, get to run the bridge of a starship. It is very good fun. It's episodic. There's 5 different episodes you can do. So you can keep coming back and control different screens, be an engineering officer, be a captain, be a weapons officer, works or whatever. Come and discover the story and make your own decisions. It's highly immersive and deeply interactive. It's very good fun. It's called Bridge Command. Please look it up and give it a good send-off next month.
So I'm Hannah. If you can follow me on Twitter at Holla Out Loud, yes, the bread. I'm Jewish, and to really lean into that, this month, the 20th through the 24th, I am in a theatre production called Stalag XXB about the Holocaust, really cheery. But the tickets are free, and it's at the Marylebone Theatre, so if you're London-based, do come along. Otherwise, catch me doing poetry things all over London. I also take commission.
I don't normally plug other things, mainly it's Adventures Wanted, but I'm going to quickly now. On the 19th of January at Cat Space, which is a space in Suffolk, there is going to be one evening a live BoJack Horseman scene, and I'm doing a bit for it.
Yes.
So come along if you like BoJack Horseman and live things.
That's so great, I can't wait to know.
Follow me on Twitter at @Griffin, and you'll see anything about ongoing projects and upcoming.
Yeah, I remember it's one that Chloe just said everything already. You didn't mention there's a Patreon. You can become a patron. I'm just going to remind people.
I didn't mention it enough.
Well, if we could just finish off, thank you for anyone who's watching on the stream, awesome. And if we could